Are EV sales a con? Dealers are pre-registering EVs that they cannot sell to boost sales figures just to hit targets, or they will get massive penalties. Pre-registered EVs are sold twice to boost sales figures. You can pick up an absolute bargain on AutoTrader, saving tens of thousands of pounds. SMMT are just making up figures. These cannot be right. It's all fake news. I'm Dave, this is Dave Takes It On, and here we will answer these outrageous claims once and for all. Well, sorry, but let's get a bit serious. Who can you trust for the actual figures? I would suggest you have to start with the government. By the way, if you don't trust them, simply stop watching this video now and just make up whatever figures you choose. I'm going to quote: the UK government has developed a simple methodology that combines vehicle registration data supplied by Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency, DVLA, with the monthly published data from the Society of Motor Manufacturers and Traders, SMMT, to produce an early provisional estimate of the number of newly registered vehicles that the Department for Transport currently produces as official statistics. Well, end of quote. That's three different sources: SMMT, DVLA and DFT. So when we get comments from viewers stating that pre-registered EVs are sold twice, counting as two sales, it's pretty obvious that many are seriously confused about sales and registration. Why three figures? And what figures mean what? So as someone who worked in the trade for about 15 years, let me offer a simple clarification in a sea of absolute confusion. When a manufacturer like Ford or Vauxhall makes a brand new car, be it an EV or ICE or hybrid, it has to be recorded or register as an asset and will now appear in the company's accounts, often under the heading of vehicles produced. And now they need to do something with it. A sale happens whenever they transfer ownership of a car from one owner to another. For a brand new car, this would normally be a sale from a manufacturer to one of their dealers. In turn, the dealer will, at some time, sell that brand new car onto the customer. But obviously, in some cases, this could take weeks, months, sometimes even years. Thus, if you buy a brand new car, be it petrol, diesel, hybrid or EV from a dealer, yours will always be the second sale. For some manufacturers like Tesla, they don't have any dealers, so they will always sell the brand new car direct to the customer. They record each car made as produced in their accounts and each car sold to a customer as delivered. Each sale must be registered by the manufacturer by law in their accounting for the relevant period. It is a registration of a transfer of ownership, manufacturer to customer. The SMMT gathers all this data from the manufacturers and dealers and supplies it to the government, as well as making it public. At this point, the manufacturers no longer own those brand new cars, but still they cannot be used on the roads in the UK. For brand new cars to be used legally on the roads of the UK, the car must also be registered separately with the DVLA, the Driver and Vehicle Licensing Agency. Please be aware that this has nothing to do with ownership or sale, and it states this very clearly on the front of the V5 registration certificate in huge letters. I quote, "This document is not proof of ownership. It shows who is responsible for registering and taxing the vehicle. DVLA will take all the relevant details from the manufacturer, such as vehicle identification number, VIN, engine numbers, taxation class, factory details, fuel type, plenty of other details, and also require to know who the registered keeper will be. The DVLA will register it for use on the road and issue it with a registration number, that's your number plate, so that it can be easily identified for any future reference." Now, in my day, way back, we physically went to a local DVLA licensing office. Mine was in Pydar Street in Truro, down in Cornwall. There I could register a brand new car, for example, as a dealer car, maybe a demonstrator or a courtesy car, in which case the first registered keeper would be the dealer itself. Or I could register it as a customer's car, in which case the first registered keeper would be the customer. In either case, the date of first registration could then be selected within a narrow window. For example, if I sold it in, say, mid-February, I could select it to be registered on the 1st of March in order to get the new 25 registration plate. A brand new car can only ever be registered for the first time once. If a registered car is registered as a demonstrator and then subsequently sold, that sale was also registered at DVLA under Section 2, selling or transferring my vehicle to a new keeper. The transfer was usually completed by us in the showroom or by the new customer who became the second registered keeper. Ownership proof was provided by a dealer invoice. The logbook or V5 was sent off to DVLA with the new keeper details. So, 3 sets of figures. First, production and sales prepared by the SMMT direct from the manufacturers. Second, registrations from DVLA for cars first registered for use on the UK roads, reported also by the SMMT. Then a grand retrospective summary once a year in May from the DFT, Department for Transport. So, sorry it was a bit long-winded, but now we know a bit more and what to look for. So let's have a look now on AutoTrader. We now know that a vehicle advertised as brand new cannot have been registered with the DVLA before. It cannot have been used on the road except with the use of trade plates. These are special plates for dealers for the purpose of moving the car from one location to another or any other legitimate purpose specified on the trade plate license, such as for test drives. In short, the car must be brand new. If it has already been registered with the DVLA and issued with a number plate, it's not new, it's a used car. Although obviously it's possible to have been registered and then never have been driven any distance. It's still a used car. These are what people these days generally describe as pre-registered new cars. They're not. In my day, they were just used cars with very low mileage, where the first registered owner would normally be the dealer. AutoTrader is very careful to label these cars differently and legally correctly from all others. Dealers have always registered brand new cars for their own use. Certainly they did back in my day in the 70s and 80s. In most cases, we got an additional discount from the manufacturer to register such a car as a demonstrator or a service courtesy car. And the regional manager would often just about require us to register one or more to ensure that certain sales targets were met, as a registration to the dealer, us in this case, was still regarded as a customer sale for the purposes of the manufacturer. Well, let's see what's out there on AutoTrader. Now, this exercise I'm going to describe now was completed on the 9th of March 2025, this year, just a few days ago, and will be slightly different if you then try it yourself at any other time. I've also run this on several successive days and always get fairly similar results. So when I type in for year, brand new, and the distance from my local garage, now I don't use my home postcode in my videos, I set it to national and I set all fuel types, I get a reported 20,404 cars. Now, of the numerous ones that I checked, they all appear to be indeed brand new and they're located in dealers. I've obviously not checked every single one. So at this stage, on the fuel filter section, there is a breakdown of the numbers of each fuel type. So electric shows 4,659, meaning 15,745 are not full electric. Petrol, 6,503, diesel 2,598, hybrid 6,599, and biofuels 7. So first clear fact, these are brand new and there's just 4,659 BEVs advertised on AutoTrader on the 9th of March. These cars are also not located with AutoTrader. They are located in dealers scattered around the country. Also, the idea that they're all available at absolutely massive discounts is also totally false. Some are, but these are the ones that have already been widely reported, certainly on my channel, for several months, like MG. I launched a video about a month ago reporting that the MG ZS was already discontinued and had now been reduced to below £20,000 in dealers while stocks lasted. MG4s at the time were also sub £20,000, brand new in the showrooms. Likewise, older models like the Corsa E, Peugeot E2008, Renault E-Scenic, Citroën E4, they're all now getting a bit long in the tooth. They're offering bigger discounts to anybody walking in, showing an interest. You don't need AutoTrader. Likewise, right at the very top end of the market, £100,000 plus, you can get 10 grand or more off from things like Mercedes, Audi, BMW. That's only because they just can't sell them at list price. There are no surprises on AutoTrader, and most showrooms would offer at least 5 grand off to almost any buyer walking in wanting to buy. This is quite normal in the motor trade, but none of the ones so far are pre-registered. They're all brand new. So let's drop down a tier on AutoTrader and look at used. Well, you call them pre-registered. Ultra low mileage, good as new, and massive discounts, still with almost full dealer warranty. So here I'm going to need to change the filters. So first I need to select registered cars, and I need to choose first registered between, well, let's pick between 2022, 2025. Doubt any pre-registered before 2022 still hanging about. Going to set the mileage to less than 100, not been used, national again, and select any fuel. And now get 6,777 cars reported. Once again, it's not a staggering number. In round figures, it's only about 2 pre-registered cars of any fuel type per dealer in the UK. That's not an unreasonable number over 2 years. It's 1 a year. All those reported have done less than 100 miles, and so effectively they're as good as new. So I need to have a look and see what is on offer. So first, let's look at the fuel search again. Electric shows 1,487, petrol 3,004, diesel 715, hybrid 1,570. Well, I'm going to ignore the odds and sods. Once again, the idea that all cars are EVs and they're flooding AutoTrader with massive pre-registered bargains, just absolute rubbish. 25% of the total are BEVs. That's 100% EVs, and that's over the last 2 full years, not tens of thousands. Quick look through these reveals some strange results. About 10% of all of them are adverts for brand new vehicles, not previously registered. Most of these are MGs. There's also some for leasing adverts for brand new vehicles scattered around. Well, ignoring those, and there are some others that are called Cat S, Cat somethings, which are damaged to some degree. Some of them have been written off by insurance. There's actually precious little here to warrant much effort. The first page shows 10 cars, 4 EVs, 6 petrol, one of which is a brand new lease deal. There's actually little here to excite you. At least Arnold Clark has the decency to advertise their pre-registered as used cars. So let's narrow down the search a little bit to BEVs only, see what we can find. Majority are just sheer rubbish. For example, the Corsa advertised as £15,000 off list price, now £17,000. So now £17,000, that's a pretty reasonable price, I agree, but £15,000 off. Is there a single sane person, anyone out there in the world, who'd pay £32,000 for a Vauxhall Corsa E? That's a bit like those designer outlets my wife loves. You know, handbag was £3,995. Today only, save a massive £3,500. It's only £495. Yeah, enough said, but there's always people in there buying them. How about an MG4 SE long range, pre-registered on a 74 plate, £7,000 off now, just £19,000. But hang on, I've already said MGs are on offer in the dealers. You can walk into any MG showroom today. They will offer you an even better price on a brand new MG4 Trophy long range. That's the next model up. Pickings here are really very slim. I was extremely disappointed. I was really expecting to find tens of thousands of EVs at rock bottom prices. Many just didn't even bother to say how cheap they were, just stated a price. There's probably not even a few hundred genuine EV bargains on this entire AutoTrader site on this day, along the lines of the rantings I get every single day in my comments section. Oh, hang on. I do spot a Ford Capri EV at £10,175 off. It's a 74 plate, 82 miles. It deserves a second glance. So we can actually narrow this down, see if there is a trend by selecting just Ford Capris. And we get a reported 7 hits, but when I look at it, there's 9. And they're all the very top of the range premium long range model with the larger battery, list price of 52k. But 9 pre-registered in the whole of the UK is hardly thousands. We also find the odd EV like the AMI, and that's above list price. That's strange. But then a Mazda MX-30 at 15k reduced. Then the spec shows why. It's got a tiny 35 kilowatt hour battery and a WLTP range of 124 miles. That means real world, less than 100 miles in the winter, virtually nothing. 30,000 list price. You're joking. AutoTrader seems to be being used as desperation measures to try to sell stuff that's got no hope in this world of selling in a dealer. Even leasing cannot save them. Recent visit to Tesla Service Centre in Manchester found you can get a brand new Model 3 refresh on a 4-year lease, $299 a month. Yet that same Mazda MX-30 on select car leasing, $307. Are they seriously trying to sell these cars? Talking of Tesla, they sell direct to the public. So are there any Tesla pre-registered on AutoTrader? No, not a single one. There are 2 brand new ones, both advertised by leasing companies, brand new, unregistered. One of them a Model 3 rear-wheel drive for $545 a month for 60 months and 6,000 miles a year. There's also a used one for sale, 23 plate Model 3 rear-wheel drive with 82 miles. It's not advertised as pre-registered, nor offered for sale by Tesla. It's offered by Car 360 on a lease for 48 months, $453 a month. The reason for such a ridiculously low 82 miles for a 2-year-old car is not stated. However, once again, I'd be remiss not to point out, visit to the Tesla sales centre, brand new Model 3 refresh rear-wheel drive, very much better car, offered on Tesla lease 36 months for $299 a month. That, by the way, also openly advertised on their website. So who on earth would want to go on AutoTrader, pay $453 a month for 48 months on a 2-year-old old model, or $545 per month for a car that Tesla advertised for 10,000 mile lease at $327 a month for 48 months? Surely this is a lesson in check what you're buying before you sign for it. Now, on the other hand, there might be bargains among petrol, diesel and hybrids because there are just so many thousands of them. How come I never get any comments from these people about them flooding the pages of AutoTrader? Well, in the section with filters set to registered, i.e. not brand new, 2022 to 2025, less than 100 miles, national coverage, and any fuel except electric, I get 5,289 cars. No EVs, every single one with an ICE. That's internal combustion engine. And surely there must be a bargain in here. How about a Fiat 500? 10,995. That's 5k off list price. 10 miles only. 74 pre-registered, 1 owner. Well, that sounds cheap if you like sucking in poisonous, noxious carcinogenic fumes. Mind you, there's quite a few of these knocking around, so maybe it's not such a bargain. Well, maybe I'm just showing my age because I just spotted a Skoda Scala. Looks a very nice car, but it's got a 1-litre engine and it's quite a good sized car. Then I see there's a Kia Ceed. It's got a 1.5-litre GDI and a similar looking Renault Clio. It's got a 1.6-litre engine and that's much cheaper. So I just got to ask, is a 1-litre engine anywhere near big enough for that size car? Even my ancient Mini Clubman was a 998cc 4-cylinder and that was considered a tiny little engine in my day. Seems to me that 24k for a Focus or a Polo with a 1-litre 3-cylinder engine is scraping the very bottom of the barrel and just asking for trouble. I'm not going to look any further into ICE because ICE has changed in the last 5 years and I don't think it's for the better by the look of things. I simply could not believe just how few pre-registered EVs I actually found, so I repeated the same exercise the following day, 10th of March, again on the 11th. And even with the filter set to national, centred from my local garage, fuel any years 2023, 2025, and I up the mileage to 500. I only get 8,500 cars in total. hardly hundreds of thousands once again. Unless I'm doing it wrong, still not hundreds of thousands. Of those, just 1,800 are BEVs, full electric. So once again, the results do not match the hype. Then this morning I watched with absolute horror the start of a fellow YouTuber who was spouting such utter nonsense. And he actually stated on TV, on YouTube, that the SMMT figures were made up as they simply could not be true. Nobody could believe them. And there you have the descent into self-perpetuating EV denial. He stated, "I don't believe that the leading independent body that reports the official figures to the government is correctly reporting the figures, so they must be wrong." He then selects a small number, I think it was 2 or 3 cars, that have been openly pre-registered in January and February as proof that all the SMMT figures are false. When anybody honestly or dishonestly believes the official figures to be totally incorrect and their own figures to be the only ones to be correct and trusted, then his world has surely gone mad. He's way down the rabbit hole. And the scary thing is, he probably believes that he is right, that his own made-up figures are actually correct, and he knows best. Better than the government, better than those whose job it is to actually record these things in front of them. Because for every single person like the one I watched this morning, there are thousands of others with their own set of totally made up, totally different figures, matching their own personally held beliefs as to the state of the EV or the ICE markets according to them. Which one of those do you pick? If I'm using these search filters incorrectly, please would somebody tell me what to do? Because I've tried, I cannot find these tens of thousands of pre-registered EVs at rock bottom prices that I keep getting told about. 1,400 EVs pre-registered over the last 2 years is hardly a serious worry in the whole of the UK. That's less than 1 car per dealer showroom. The fact that there are many times more petrol, diesel and hybrids is surely much more of a worry. Well, in my opinion, the best thing for these EVs that are up there is a genuine fire sale. Just slash the prices, still further, totally clear the decks. These are holding them back. In another year, the batteries are going to start giving them problems because I guarantee nobody's going out there regularly and topping them up. Nobody goes out there, gives them a drive, gives them a run and then tops them up and charges them. You can tell that from the mileage. Get shot of them. Get a bit of cash in the bank. The current breed of EVs, the budget ones that are now entering the UK and European markets, priced between about 15,000 and 25,000, is the way forward. And the various governments are now heading in with subsidies and tax breaks and incentives to help you, the manufacturers, get there quicker. Subsidies, tax breaks and incentives for ICE and hybrids are rapidly coming to an end. Forget ICE, their sales are crashing faster than a SpaceX Starship 8. Your governments are seriously committed to selling EVs only by no later than 2035, along with all this climate change stuff and CO2 and net zero by 2050, along with polar bears having nowhere to hunt seals and corals turning bright white, and a clean national grid with windmills and batteries and congestion zones and exclusion zones and everyone driving at slower speeds. Even though you have the absolute proof it's all a big con, just a money-making scheme for the already ultra-mega rich. But will anyone listen to you? Try the comment section down below. I'm Dave and thanks very much for watching. If you have enjoyed this, click the like button. If you would like to hear more, then please subscribe.